Good morning. I'm Helen Carney, Commissioner for the Election Commissioners. I call this meeting to order Tuesday, February the 6th, 2024. We will have prayer by Commissioner Leroy Lacy, the pledge by Commissioner Anthony Denton.
Oh, gracious Father, we come now, first of all, say thank you. Thank you again for another day, another opportunity. Thank you for this commission. Thank you for every commissioner that's here. Thank you for this great county, Madison County, this state of Mississippi. We come now asking that you intervene in our meeting, that whatever we do here, you get some of the glory. Bless every commissioner, their family here. Oh, God, we ask now that you come in the midst of us, that we do everything in this county that we need to do for election properly, honestly, with integrity. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we will start. I think everybody's here except Anita, and she's on her way. So we will start with the mandatory purge date. So Spence, you have provided our list last Friday. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Anthony checked the Sims and determined that only one of these individuals was a registered voter. So do I hear a motion to delete the last name on the spreadsheet?
A motion to purge him for disenfranchising crime. I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Secondly.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. So now we will have approval of the January 9th, 2024 minutes. They were distributed, so everyone had a chance to review them. So I'm asking, are there any corrections? If none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. So no concerned citizens that I see. So we will go and Anita will be here, so we will go back to Anita. So what we're going to do is request for purges by district. This is from 12/30/2023 to January the 28th, 2024.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
you have to have a motion to change your agenda from number 6 till she gets here. So I'll make that motion that we accept that Miss Anita's not here, and then we'll go back.
Second.
Okay. Motion passed. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all that's approved, so then we'll go on and we will request by purges by district. District 1, 10. District 2,
5.
District 3,
8.
District 4,
1.
District 5.
13.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Request for inactives by district. I will go ahead and say, since we are within 90 days of the primary, we will just acknowledge that there are 0 reports. So we'll move on to old business. All right, report from January mandatory purge activity, which was 0. So what we would like to do is thank Anthony for checking those names, and 0 were found.
You have a report in your packet saying that.
Yes. Thank you, Pat. Okay, so as y'all are looking, we will move on to new business. So we have a contract with the Republican primary. We have a signed contract with the Republican Party signed by Aaron Rice and myself, Helen Carney. Spence, will you deliver this copy to the Secretary of State?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, we will go back to the Now that Anita's here, we will have comments from Anita.
Sorry, I'm late. Is this on? Yes. Okay. Let me give you your voter move report. There are 313 voters that have moved within Madison County. And just a reminder that in-person absentee voting is, the clerk's office will be open from 8 until 12 on, excuse me. Excuse me, it's the 10th of February, which is this Saturday. 8 until 12, and the deadline to register to vote is the 12th of February, okay? We'll also be in March, the 2nd and the 9th will be in-person voting, absentee voting. Just a reminder that the 26th, we start LNA, and that's all that I have.
Thank you, Anita. Okay, we'll go back to new business, number B, policy for work attire for election commissioners. I'm going to ask Commissioner Anthony Denton, to comment about what's on the table.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I spoke with County Administrator, Mr. Gregg, about us ordering some shirts and probably jackets and vests for our conferencing and election day. He said that was fine. We just needed to approve a work policy, work uniform policy, where we'll be wearing them for. So we probably just need to approve a policy saying that we'll be wearing them for election day training or whatever else we'll be doing dealing with election. So that's the report he gave me. So I guess want to make a motion to ask Mr. Spencer or whoever to help us draw up a work policy for our uniform.
Yes, sir. I can draft a work policy for y'all and get it to you. And then y'all edit it and get it how you want it, and then we can vote on it at the next meeting if that sounds good.
Okay, so
Thank you.
are we going to table that,
No, we
Anthony?
make a motion to give Mr. Spencer. Yeah, we could table. We could table to the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so the next thing is state cancellations in Sims. We just got back from our January meeting in Philadelphia, and one of the things that they discussed was state cancellations, and I'll go ahead and say DOHs, which is Department of Health. So what they're stressing is that each precinct, each county and each precinct, to be sure to clean up our state cancellations and our DOHs. It's in there, you see it, you be sure, and I'm asking Madison County to be sure every one of us, District 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, make sure that our cancellations and our DOHs are up to date. So I'm asking y'all to please pay attention, make sure you get all that done, and we're good with the Secretary of State.
May I make a statement on the state cancellations? We'll
Yes.
need to, unless a signature is provided, we will need to write and get a signature, do a change of address request
That's right.
to that voter. And a lot of times they'll furnish a out-of-state address. Sometimes there's not. But that's how we would process the state cancellations. And then, of course, the DOH, a lot of times we find that there's somebody we've already found an obituary for. So those, a lot of times, work themselves out.
Okay?
Understand too, when you say state cancellations, I'm not familiar with that.
That's like when somebody has moved out of the state and they have registered at another state. So Secretary of State sends us a list, and most of the time it'll show like they've moved to Florida or Tennessee and give us a foreign address. And so what we do is we cannot put them inactive because we're within that 90 days. But what we will do is send a change of address, and hopefully they'll send it back. We can clear up their voter rolls.
I see. And then on DOH, is that like a death certificate?
mm-hmm.
Okay. And they send you a list of that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, thanks.
And they just request that we keep that clear and at a 0 number. So I'm just asking that we try to do that. Okay, so moving along, we'll have a comments from our attorney, Spence.
Yes, okay. Y'all approved, the contracts with the parties, and as you noted, the Republicans got theirs back. Do you have a fully executed copy?
I do.
All right. and
Did I
so-
send you a copy?
I don't know if I've got it. If you would email it to me at your convenience, and
Okay.
then just include it in the minutes.
Yes.
Thanks. And then okay. And I had a good meeting with the Assistant Secretary of State last week, and he kind of explained to me the unique situation that we really don't have contested races on the Democrat Party side in the county, but there's a contested congressional race in North Mississippi, and that unique situation. So we've got so all the Democrat and Republicans have contested primaries, so that was interesting, and he's very complimentary of Madison County and y'all's good work on purging rolls and, doing voter roll maintenance and that type of thing. So the purge today was good, and I'll pass out with my bill a list of the disenfranchising crimes. There's 23, and there's a list I'll give you, and they're not, it's just those 23. It's not like, well, anyway, and I was going to tell you too, there's a case before the Fifth Circuit to challenge that, and I'll monitor that and let you know. But right now it hasn't gone into effect, so we'll still stay with this list. It's a good cheat sheet, and I've been doing this a long time, and I still get it out every time because it's not intuitive. Because, robbery is a disenfranchising crime, but not burglary. So I still get the list out every time, so don't feel bad about doing that. But I'll get this to you. Let's see. I had a list of things, so I'm just kind of glancing through it, and you've covered some of them already, Madam Chairman. February 1st was a deadline for judicial races, and I don't know what they call it, but in the central part of Mississippi, there's a Supreme Court race with like 4 or 5 candidates. So, could be a runoff. A lot of times we put runoffs on our calendar, and we know they're not going to happen, but you might want to reserve that date in the fall. So I thought that was interesting. And I think there will be, I was looking at it, the Canton Public School District is a confusing deal because if you're outside the city of Canton, that's elected, and it's always, you got to go back and look. I don't think we're having an election there this year, but I do think we have a school board election for Madison County. And I see Clerk Ray nodding her head. So those qualification, turning in your papers, comes to us, and it won't be until like August or something. But
August the 7th.
August the 7th. Okay, so just noting those races, and that's down the road. Let's see. I see Chairman Brown's here, which I appreciate. He had emailed us Friday, which was nice because we kind of put the deadline of Friday to let us know if he was going to enter into a contract. And so we got that notice. It did have included in there something different on the issue of us verifying that the poll workers are registered voters in Madison County, which we talked about last time. And he had emailed me some changes to the last contract after our last meeting, and I made those changes, but I couldn't make that one because the Board of Supervisors had told me, they wanted solution on that issue about poll workers that are voters. And so the only thing I needed to do was to come to the Board of Supervisors meeting, and I invited Howard, and I think most of y'all were there. And so I came to the Board of Supervisors, and y'all saw it, and I said, y'all wanted a solution about whether poll workers are registered voters in Madison County, and here's what I think is a solution for the commission to just certify the voters, the poll workers as voters. And so the deadline would be February the 20th to get us the names, and they directed me to do that. So I don't think I can really, I'm in my authority to really change that, and I told them I'd do that. So I think we've accommodated the Democrats' change as much as we can, but that's kind of something outside my authority, and unless y'all feel differently, I think we need to stick with that, what we told the Board of Supervisors and what they told us. So we don't have a signed contract with the Democrats, and that's kind of the sticking point. So let's see. We've covered elections, covered a lot, purging, primary in general. You have any other questions for me? Anything?
I don't have any, do y'all? Okay.
Okay. I will, if it's all right then, I'll pass out this helpful disenfranchising crimes list from the Secretary of State's office. Pat's the one, I think. Let me think about it.
Okay.
That, and I'm not good at multitasking, so I'll pass my bill out now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, is there a motion for payment for our attorney?
So move.
Second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Passed. Thank you.
I think what I'd say is.
Okay. Okay, so that passed, and so we're going to say okay. Okay, so before we get to comments of election commissioners, let me go back up to the beginning. Do we need to so I'm going to go back up to concerned citizens? Do we need to vote again on that?
What is that, what concerns
It's not, but it was on another one that we didn't print.
I don't see it on
Oh,
here.
right here. Pat added it. So, Mr. Howard Brown, if you would like to come to the podium and you want to speak today?
Is there a paper copy of the minutes from the last meeting?
It's online. I do not have one. No, sir.
With all due respect, Madam Chair, I get to call you Madam Chair now.
Yes, you do. Just state your name again for the record, and we have 2 minutes. And so we're going to let Spence be the timekeeper. So you go right ahead, Mr. Brown.
My name is Howard Brown. It's a pleasure to see you all today. I made extensive comments at the last election commissioners meeting. I really don't have anything to add beyond what I said at the last meeting. We were asked to submit a contract by the 2nd of February. I think we submitted what we were really willing to agree to by the 2nd of February, and I really don't have anything to add. If you all have any questions for me, I'll be happy to try to answer them, but I don't have anything to add unless y'all have anything for me.
The only thing that I ask is I need your emergency contact numbers, yours and who
Okay.
else you need on there. Before you leave, would you write that down for me and their phone numbers, like you and your phone number and who else did you want on there, so I can put it in the 3-ring binders?
I'll be happy to do it.
Okay.
Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you.
May I make a comment? We had asked for the agreement to be executed and returned, but you just offered a substitute addition, so we didn't have anything we could accept.
Okay, may I respond to that?
Sure.
I submitted an agreement that the Madison County Democratic Executive Committee can agree to. the agreement that was submitted to us, with all due respect, we do not feel that it was appropriate for the reasons previously stated. And we went through that for about 15 or 20 minutes at the last meeting, which I don't care to belabor y'all with. We agreed to what we felt we could agree to that was fair and appropriate. I understand that counsel for the Election Commission says that you all are doing what the Board of Supervisors wants y'all to do. I understand that. When at the January Board of Supervisors meeting, I'm not aware that the Board of Supervisors took any action. I'm not aware that a motion was made concerning the primary. I'm not aware that a motion was seconded. I'm not aware that a motion passed. So, given that, I would submit to you, Commissioner Truesdale, that the Board of Supervisors, they were nice and they listened, as they usually do, but they didn't take any action such that might be appealable. So, given that, I would respectfully submit that I understand that there's language that the commission apparently wants in the contract. The Democratic Executive Committee does not feel that it's proper. What's the issue? I'm going to limit myself. I think I'm over 2 minutes. It's 9:22. I'm going to limit myself for another minute or two.
Okay.
What's the issue? That someone allegedly, that someone allegedly worked in the Democratic primary last year who was a convicted felon. That's the issue. Are there any other issues? I'm not aware of any. Who was the convicted felon who allegedly worked in the Democratic primary? I have not seen any documentation of that. Let's set that aside for a minute. Let's assume that it's true, which I'm not aware that it is true, that a convicted felon who was not eligible to vote worked for the Democrats last August. Let's assume it's true. Well, how can we address that? As I put in the agreement on Friday, we can ask for their voter registration cards. We could beg the circuit clerk to check them. I know she's busy. She may or she may not. Or we can ask anyone else who has access to SIMs to check them, to make sure they are registered to vote in Madison County. That's in the contract that I submitted. If it's a real issue, that would address it. So I believe we have tried to be responsive to something that, again, I have no proof of. It may be true, it may not. That's 2 minutes
Okay.
that I limited myself.
You mentioned the voter registration card. That, to me, is a moot point because we have voter ID now here in Mississippi. And so a driver's license would be more of a trigger that we could compare date of birth and address and that sort of thing. So the voter registration card doesn't mean anything as far as if they are registered, because from the time it was mailed out, they could have had moved to Tennessee. They could have had some other action taken on their record. But there were one or two that were not even residents of Madison County that were paid, and there was the convicted felon that had been paid.
What's the person's name?
I don't have it in front of me
Well,
right
could
now.
you give it to me?
I certainly can.
I would like that
Right.
in writing. I would like to get the name just to For what it's worth,
Refer it to
so
our-
I could backtrack in our records and
I'll
see.
refer it to our attorney, and then he can send it to you.
Well, if I
he
could
thinks
get it, I
that's
would appreciate
appropriate.
it, since it keeps coming up. I would appreciate getting that name of who purportedly worked in our primary last year, who was a convicted felon. I would appreciate that.
It was a return and receiving manager.
If I could get the name, I would appreciate it, just for our documentation. And along those lines, well, I'll pause for a minute. But along those lines, Commissioner Truesdale, whatever y'all are comfortable with, short of us getting y'all a list to check, we'll consider it. But we shouldn't, with all due respect to each one of y'all, all 5 of you and your counsel and everybody in the room, our primary, other than the checking of affidavit ballots, our primary does not necessarily have to be tied to the commission.
I understand that.
So, we're prepared to move on in a way that everybody can live with, but in a way that we think is reasonable in light of all the circumstances. And I don't want to go on and on and on, but I hope I've answered any questions, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Howard
you.
Brown.
And I appreciate you too, Howard. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming. And it's your primary, and the law says that. And law says that the commission can, if it chooses, enter an agreement to help. And I think we're just at a standstill here, and no hard feelings. I think
No
that
hard feelings.
no hard. So if we just agree to disagree on that point, and wish y'all the best for the primary. I'm glad. It's kind of nice that it's not a contested one. That's always a relief on election night when it's not, down to 2 or 3 affidavit ballots or something. So y'all are going to have a great primary. Wish y'all the best. And, if you could get your contact info to Helen so that y'all have the open lines of communication. I know the new GOP chairman's excited to work with you, and y'all are going to tackle the county together and help each other in different areas, Aaron Rice. So it's going to be a good primary season, and then we're heading to a big general election with the presidential, which was in 2020 was maybe the biggest turnout we ever had, which is what we want. We want voters turning out, so that's a good thing. So thank you for coming, and wish y'all the best. Yeah.
The primary in 2020 was big too. I doubt it'll be quite as big this year.
Yeah.
It was a humdinger in 2020.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, moving right along, we have comments from the election commissioner, and I'm District 1. So in your packet, I did give you a copy of signed agreement by the Board of Supervisors Chairman Gerald Steen. This is on Frankie J's moving, where we do have approval for them to deliver our equipment on Monday and pick it back up on Wednesday. And we also went ahead and got them approved for if there's a runoff and for the general election. So we got it all approved at the Board of Supervisors yesterday. You do have a copy in your packet, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I don't think we have that copy, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
We didn't make them a copy?
It's all right.
Okay. All right, District 2,
It's a traditional thing.
comments?
Not much to say. I thank y'all for helping me with my injury, my knee issue, but we had a good conference. I've learned a lot, and just appreciate everybody here.
Thank you. District 3,
I don't think anything else.
okay. District 4? Nothing? District 5?
Just the only comments on this dress attire. And before you send it to Mr. Spence, I think there ought to be a discussion amongst the commissioners before you send anything. I wasn't here, I know I was out of town, but I think it's an internal thing before it becomes an external thing, is when you want to wear them, not when somebody suggests you wear them.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Do you want to, have a meeting with us together?
I mean,
or-
we just have to decide when you're gonna wear them. You're gonna wear them on election day, you're gonna wear them when you do training. or whatever, and then you all be uniform. That sort of thing. It's not an everyday thing. It's nothing big to even deal with when you're going down doing your affidavits. You might want to have them on. You don't have to have the name tag on, same thing. But that's all. That's the only point you're going to wear, and you send it to the supervisor, and you're done with it. I mean, to Mr. Gregg, please.
You know, that's a good point. I want it to be what y'all, when I draft it, what y'all want. So if y'all could help me, maybe just shoot me an email or tell me after the meeting what you want in it. I'll try to draft something that reflects that, and certainly y'all will, you'll vote on it, so you could change it however you want. So, good point. But give me all your input, and I'll draft it.
Okay, is that it? Okay, well, there will not be a meeting in March due to the primary. So do I have a motion to adjourn until Wednesday, April the 10th, 2024 at 9 a.m.?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.